Guys, so as much as I love our Supra and as fast as it is, I am 100% certain that it is probably the least expensive and the slowest car in this entire garage, except for the Porsche. I think it's faster than the Porsche, but I'm feeling like my masculinity is being tested right now, and I don't know if I'm okay with that. What's up, Brite Nation? So, we decided, since the weather has been so crappy, we missed our drift event on this past weekend, we wanted to make the most of our time. So what we did is we came over to JP Euros over in Garland, Texas, because we have something super special we want to do for the Supra. So pure turbos, if you remember, we have a pure 700 turbo in the Supra right now, which is a stock frame turbo, just a slightly larger wheel. But this
is the pure 800 turbo,
which has an even bigger wheel. So it should be able to put down more power, which means we should be able to hopefully hit 9s next time we go to the drag strip.
That would be cool.
Guys, so as much as I love our Supra and as fast as it is, I am 100% certain that it is probably the least expensive and the slowest car in this entire garage, except for the Porsche. I think it's faster than the Porsche, but I'm feeling like my masculinity is being tested right now, and I don't know if I'm okay with that. So now we already did a basic overview of how to install a turbo when we installed the Pure 700 back at AMS Performance last year. So we're gonna skip all the boring stuff this time and go straight to the fun stuff, which is comparing the two turbos side by side. Okay, so this is the Pure 700 turbo that just came out of the Supra, and this is the Pure 800 turbo. Now you might notice that they look like they're almost the exact same size. And that's because they are the exact same size. And that's because they are the exact same turbo, or at least they used to be. They're both the factory OEM BorgWarner turbo that came in the Supra when we bought it at the dealership. And that's what's amazing about the Pure Turbo company, is what they do is they take your factory OEM turbos, they machine them so that they're capable of making more power. But what's amazing about that is not just the more power, it's that the installation and the uninstallation in our case is super easy, because these are literally bolt-on turbos. They go exactly where the factory one was, and they make a ton more power. So the Pure 700 is built to put out about 700 horsepower at the crank. It's a 70-pound-a-minute turbo, whereas the Pure 800 turbo, you might have guessed it, is an 800 horsepower turbo at the crank and capable of putting out 80 pounds per minute. And that's why we're swapping to this, because realistically, once we put the Pure 800 into the Supra, we should be making about 800 horsepower. And once you take in the drivetrain loss, we'll probably be making just under 700 horsepower to the wheel. We should be making anywhere between 70 and 80 horsepower more than we were with this one. So this is a McLaren 720S, and this one in particular is making over 1,000 horsepower because it's upgraded with a pure twin turbo setup. And that's another thing that's pretty cool about pure turbos, is they don't just make things for weird Toyota, BMW hybrids or McLarens, but just about every single car manufacturer you can imagine, from Hondas to BMWs to Volkswagens, Audis, even Jeep. actually have the Pure 800 in the Supra. So what's really cool is the new Supra, and this is kind of a future car benefit, is that it actually has what's called a bleed mode that forces it to do this. So this is the car itself actually controlling its revs to basically perform a bleed cycle procedure. So it's bleeding the coolant lines and making sure that there are no more bubbles in the coolant system, and the car's doing it all on its own. Now, as far as how to get it into bleed mode, for those of you who do know what you're doing and can do something like this on your own, maybe I'll post a link in the description below, but that's something that we actually did not know about previously until we came here to JP Euro. Alright, so that's about it. Turbo is installed and we are on our way home. Now, obviously the car is not tuned for the Pure 800 yet. We still have to get it tuned. And we have Mikey to get it Mikey tuned. He's actually flying in later this week.
Yeah, 5 days he's flying in.
He's flying in about 5 days to actually come, not just tune our Supra, but actually tune a bunch of Supras in the DFW area, which is pretty rad.
Yeah.
But until then, we're actually okay driving the car as is.
Yeah, new computers are like absolutely amazing. If anything gets out of sorts, like don't go racing it, but you can drive no problem with the upgraded turbo, just like we did from AMS all the way to
all
Mikey,
the way to Connecticut. Yeah,
with a Pure 700, right? With no tune.
Yep.
So the computers sort themselves out. Don't go racing it. Don't go do anything crazy.
But it's smart enough to kind of manage itself until you can get it properly tuned. It's something you couldn't do on older cars. You couldn't just slap a bigger turbo on it and then
go driving it.
It just wouldn't have worked. But on the newer cars, it's not so bad.
Anytime you're outside the parameters, the car will just cut throttle, pull stuff back. It'll kind of just adjust for itself.
It'll put it in safety mode and stuff like that. But anyways, we are on our way home. We won't get it tuned until later this week. We might.
Woo!
Yeah, drag radials in the rain is like the worst, you guys.
It's been raining for like 24 hours. Oh, we have something that we're doing to the Supra for safety, since the car is going to now have so much power. I want the car to be a little bit safer.
We might be doing that before the tune.
Yes.
I don't know. I think we're trying to plan it before the tune. So we have something else in store.
From the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
So welcome to Dashbuilt Precision Fabrication, where they have officially designed and created a roll bar for the all-new Toyota Supra. And this one in particular is for our Supra. You guys have seen, when we went to the drag strip, we were running high tens. But now, we're about to make a lot more power than we were before, which means we're gonna be running quicker times. And obviously, we've stated it multiple times, our goal ultimately is to hit the nines. And once you do that, there's a lot of safety requirements and regulations that you have to follow, including this bad boy right here. Not only is this gonna keep us safe on the street, but it's also gonna pass just about any tech inspection for any type of motorsport we decide to enter our Supra into. Now, it's made out of 4130 chromoly, and it'll surpass any regulation that we're gonna need it to. Also, it's gonna look pretty badass. All right, so now this is where the real fun begins, and we actually get to put the entire roll bar into the Supra, which is probably one of the tougher parts, is getting it through everything without damaging it. But you did notice as they do that, we did have to remove our JL Audio sub box. Now, one thing that's really important about this entire setup is making sure that we will always be able to remove that custom sub box. And the reason for that is because we have to remove it in order to take this panel off, which gives us access to that fantastic 70-pound battery that Toyota/BMW threw into this bad boy. So we do need to make sure that the cage still allows us to remove that sub box. And then, of course, once you've got it in, you have two decisions. One, you can mark it, take it all back out again, drill it, and then put it all back in again and bolt it up. Or you can do what we're going to do, which is going to ensure the best possible fitment and not misdrilling something, which is we're just going to drill it while it's in the car because we don't like doing extra work. Would you just look at it? Would you just look at it? Guys, I'm not gonna lie. This turned out so freaking dope. Even if it wasn't fully functional, completely safe, surpassing all regulations for just about any motorsport we would want to enter this thing into, I'd still probably get it done just because it looks badass.
Her Ricer side would still be
I
like, I want that anyway.
The Ricer in me would totally still get it.
But, I mean, it is absolutely, I'm actually blown away. I really am.
Dude, and I don't know, you picked the color out, didn't you?
I picked the color.
So Kevin spent like hours finding the color online, and it...
Do you know how many red powder coat colors there are?
The JL Audio subwoofer was a big thing. As you can see, it fits perfectly. It slides out, comes out just as easily as it did before. And I gotta do, because one of the other than the sub, the other concern we had was obviously the beauty panel. Look at this. Look at the clearances right there. It fit
Like
perfectly.
somehow, for some reason, when they made this, they actually made a little divot right here, and that's exactly where the bar goes.
It fits like there's this little divot comes that way, and the bar just went boop perfectly into it. We didn't have to do anything to this trim panel.
If this board would have continued on straight,
We'd have been screwed.
We'd have to cut it and rewrap it or whatever. But somehow,
It looks so freaking dope. And honestly, the JL Audio setup makes it look even that much cooler. Like, that's freaking rad. Here you guys go, just so you can see what it looks like from the interior. Look at that. Oh my God. From the front, from the back. Every angle is sexy. It matches the red in here perfectly. Like, I'm so excited. I would say that the only thing that would make this bad boy better is a little bit of fine tuning. this out. We went and did a couple pulls on the street before we strapped it down on the dyno. So even hot and spinning, look at what we're making. So this right here is the run we just did. 598 horsepower, 547 foot-pounds of torque. That is hot, spinning on the dyno. So we got the guys going ahead and getting track bite. We're gonna put it on the rollers to give us a little more traction so we won't be spinning, and then we're gonna try this again. And in case you're wondering who is tuning our Supra today, Mikey and his beautiful other half, Ashley, actually flew down from Connecticut today to tune not just our Supra, but a ton of other vehicles as well, except not my mom's Mitsubishi. That's what we used to pick them up from the airport. But yeah, we had to bring the best of the best down to tune the bad boy one more time. And we're gonna make a ton more power.
Yes.
Is the goal. We have a turbo, bigger turbo now. Well, same size turbo,
It's
bigger
100
wheel.
freaking degrees outside, like 80% humidity. Good luck.
All right, first pull, we actually had traction. We're at 611 and 615, but we are definitely gonna bump that up a lot, or hopefully at least quite a bit. So Kevin's actually not joking. I just looked up on my phone and it is 92 degrees right now and 51% humidity here in Texas today. So not exactly the best conditions to be trying to tune the vehicle, but, or at least to be making peak power. You know, especially considering that when we tuned this in Connecticut, it was like 35, 40 degrees outside and little to no humidity. So we'll see how it does, but it should still make quite a bit more power than it did before. .29, 651. And that torque just keeps going up and up. Okay, so now remember, our Supra has a pure 800 turbo, a catless downpipe by AMS Performance, an AM meth kit, and we are running E40 right now. So what we're gonna do just to see where the restriction is, we've gone ahead and we've pulled the filter and opened up the intake to see if maybe getting an aftermarket intake will help with our power, because we still have the stock exhaust and we still have a stock factory intake box. So we're gonna open that up and see what kind of difference it makes. Nine, 637, 646. Ah! So it doesn't really look like the intake really made much of a difference. We could probably fine tune this a little bit more, but we've got a lot more cars to tune. However, what's good about that is we actually have two more Supras with the exact same setup as us in terms of turbo kit, downpipe, meth kit, E40, all of the jazz, except one is running a full exhaust and one is running an intake and an exhaust. So it'd be kind of cool to see the difference that those modifications might make on top of ours.
What she said, I didn't hear what she said, something about modifications.
Okay, so this bad boy here has the same setup as ours, but just an exhaust added to it. So let's see what type of difference it makes in power. All right, so this was ours, 637, 646, and this was his run just now, 647, 639. It's kind of like flippity-floop.
this place. Gotta rock this place. Gotta rock this place.
Okay, so officially we have 637 wheel horsepower, 646 foot-pounds of torque, so basically 640, 650. This thing is a monster. And guys, that's still on a stock frame turbo.
It's pretty awesome.
Which means that it's the perfect time to go out and actually test it, which is why we are at the GTR Super Cruise here in North Texas, where we're gonna take a little trip down to Mexico to see just how she does.
Wink,
Guys,
wink, wink, Mexico.
you're not gonna be able to see it though. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Remember, you can find all your Lite Brite Nation merch at litebritstudios.com. All of your Lite Brite Nation decals at pixeldecals.com. We love you, and we will see you next time.
Hey guys.
Jellybean. Oh, hi. Oh, hi, good morning. Good morning. Did you get the bunny rabbits? Did you get the bunny rabbits? Oh, it's a good girl. Just good dreams.